Yeah, good morning. Back with our class on heredity. Yesterday we studied monohybrid cross. In monohybrid cross, we do crossing of one character at a time. We did cross between tallness and dwarfness, between white flowered pea plant to violet flowered pea plant, where we found that violet flowers are dominant over white flowers or purple flowers. Then we also did a cross between round and wrinkled seeds, where we found that round is dominant over wrinkled seeds. Today we will study about dihybrid cross. Dihybrid cross. We will study about dihybrid cross. Please write heading dihybrid cross and write it is a cross between two sets of plants. It is a cross between two sets of plants involving two pairs of contrasting characters. It is a cross between two sets of plants involving two pairs of contrasting characters. Okay, right, next point. Mendel took a pea plant which had round and green seeds and crossed them with a plant or crossed them with a pea plant which had wrinkled and yellow seeds. Next point, he found that in F1 generation, all the plants were round and yellow. All the plants were round and yellow, which indicates that round and yellow is dominant over wrinkled and green. That round and yellow is dominant over wrinkled and green. Okay, so till now we were taking what? One character at a time. Now we will take how many characters? Two characters at a time. So let us understand. RR stands for round. Small r stands for wrinkled. YY stands for yellow. And small yy stands for green. This is how we will take class. Right along, RR is round or round seeds. Small RR are wrinkled seeds. Capital YY is yellow and small wrinkled and yellow. Fine. So your parent generation is what? Round and green, wrinkled and yellow. So this is what is our parent generation. Fine. Right on the top, round and green. And this side right please, wrinkled and yellow. Round and green and wrinkled and yellow is our parent generation. Now what division happens on both sides? Reduction division. So when I have reduction division, the chromosome number becomes half. Look here, RR will give 1 R and YY will give 1 Y. Here also it will be small r and capital Y. So when I get a plant, I get what? R, Y, Y, which is what? Round and yellow. This is which generation? F1 generation. Understood how we did? Is it clear? From 2, make it 1. Again from 2, make it 1. So you will get in F1 generation all plants which are round and yellow. Which indicates what? Round and yellow is dominant over wrinkled and green. Okay? Written till here? Please write after writing this. All the plants in the F1 generation are round and yellow. All the plants in the F1 generation are round and yellow. Now write, when the plants of F1 generation are allowed to self-cross, we get the following dihybrid ratio. We get the following dihybrid ratio using which square? Punnett square. Using Punnett square. So RR crosses RR. So don't write now, first look into this calculation, then we will write. Now see, what gametes are possible from here? Okay, first R with this Y. So we will write what? R capital Y. Then R with small y. R small y. Small r capital Y. And small r small y. Correct? Understood? Capital R capital Y. Capital R small y. Small r capital Y. Small r small y. So from one plant, how many gametes are possible? 4 gametes. Same way from the other also. So R, Y, R small y, R capital Y and R small y. Correct? Now we multiply, but don't make it R square, Y square at all. Okay? So R, Y, Y. how it will look. Now let us count the dihybrid ratio. What is the first type of plant I have? Round and yellow. Okay, so if I look into round and yellow, see how many places round and yellow is there. I am cutting it. Round and yellow. This is also round and yellow. One Y means round and yellow. This is also 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 round and yellow. This is not. This is round and green. This is what? Round and yellow. This is also round and yellow. This is also round and yellow. This is not. This is not. This is also round and yellow. And this is also round and yellow.
It should be round and green.
Which one?
The one across now.
This one?
Yeah. It has small y and small y. Both the places.
Oh, sorry. I have written it wrong. This has to be R, Y. Okay. Correct? These are the places. So how many round and yellow count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So first ratio 9. 9 plants which are what? Round and yellow. Is to. Next. Next case is what? Round and green. So let us make it like this. Round and green. See here. Round and green. See here. Round and green. So 3 plants which are what? Round and green. Now the next ratio. The next ratio is what? Wrinkled and yellow. Okay. So see. Wrinkled and yellow. Wrinkled and yellow. And wrinkled and yellow. So this is also wrinkled and yellow. Now the last one is what? Wrinkled and green. So our ratio, dihybrid ratio is 9:3:3:1. Where 9 plants are round and yellow, 3 plants are round and green, 3 plants are wrinkled and yellow, and 1 plant is wrinkled and green. So our dihybrid ratio is 9:3:3:1. Gottaita? No rocket science, just very simple it is. But only thing is, do it correctly. Okay? So we have written, we can get it using a Punnett square. Write this and then draw this. Okay? You can stop. Yeah, so what will you write after drawing this? You will write, thus the dihybrid ratio is, thus the dihybrid ratio in the F2 generation is, write one below the other, 9 plants which are round and yellow, 9 plants which are round and yellow, 3 plants which are round and green, 3 plants which are wrinkled and yellow, and 1 plant which is wrinkled and green. And 1 plant which is wrinkled and green. Written. Therefore, the dihybrid ratio is 9:3:3:1. Therefore, the dihybrid ratio is 9:3:3:1. What was monohybrid ratio phenotypically? 3:1. What was it genotypically? 1:2:1. What is dihybrid ratio? 9:3:3:1. Now, which law of, don't write, just listen. Which law of Mendel does dihybrid ratio indicate? Dihybrid ratio indicates law ನೆನ್ನೆ 2 law ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಏನೇನಿತ್ತು? Law of dominance and law of segregation. This indicates what? Law of independent assortment. That means if there are two characters getting inherited, the first character independently assorts itself. Round does not influence yellow or green, or green wrinkle does not influence yellow. Round will only talk about itself and yellow will only talk about itself. It will not influence each other. Understood? So this is called as what? They are independently assorted. The color of my eyeball will not determine the size of my eye. They are two different characters. So they will independently assort themselves. Understood? So there are 3 laws of Mendel. Law of dominance, law of segregation, law of independent assortment. Law of dominance says that whichever character makes its appearance in the F1 generation is a dominant character. And it will again be seen in which generation? F2 generation. Fine? Law of segregation says that during inheritance, genes segregate themselves and get assorted independently. Third, law of independent assortment says no character influences the other character. Although they are all present in the body, in the gene, in the chromosome, they do not influence each other. They all get what assorted? Independently assorted. Clear? Everything? Now, the last part, don't write because I will send this notes because laws and all will take a lot of time to dictate. So what we will do is, we will study the next part. I have not read the textbook. Open your textbook please. Fine. I have not read from page number 144 to 145. This is nothing but the same thing which we have done. Okay. See, they have not shown the Punnett square, but they have got the same logic of 9:3:3:1. Here also they have tried tall and short plant and white and purple flowers. So please read that content once from the textbook. If you do not get it, please ask. Okay. Now we will also talk about sex determination in humans. This is the question which comes multiple times. It is for 3 marks in board. Okay. Very, very important. So how do we study the sex determination in humans is, see, females in humans are always homozygous. Homozygous means they are represented as XX. They contain the same chromosome. Right? Which is a chromosome which determines maleness is a Y chromosome. Y chromosome is said to be the shortest chromosome. And Y comes from father, not from mother. So mother is not responsible for the sex of the child. As it is, done in India, in rural India and even in urban India, the mother is blamed for having female child or multiple girl child. Mother does not have any logic. Mother anywhere, everywhere, wherever she reproduces, she can only give what chromosome? X chromosome. But the father can give either X or Y. So it is the father who decides the sex of the child. Mother does not do anything. Okay. So see, this is female. How do you write a female? Like this. Border nodiltira. Hospital boards are irutte. Okay. How do you indicate a male? You indicate a male like this. Fine? Understood? What will happen during reduction division? It will be X. Correct? What is it? X. X is present in her egg. Here when reduction division happens, what is possible here? Either an X or a Y. The sperm may carry either X or Y. It undergoes what division? Reduction division. Reduction division only is called as meiosis or meiotic division. Clear till here? Now, if X of the female happens to fertilize with the X sperm, the child is girl. If the X happens to fertilize with the Y of the male, the child will be a boy. Understood? Sex determination in humans. Yes, no? But never start doing this. I have seen lot of children doing this. Without the reduction division they'll do. Then it will become a chapka here. Don't do that. Okay? I have seen lot of them doing X, Y. ऐसे होता ही नहीं है. There is no organism like this. So please don't use your ati brain and start doing all this nonsense. Okay? And then say, I have done everything. Only one X is more. No, give me marks. One X में पूरा जिंदगी खराब हो जाएगा. So please, without reduction division, don't do this drama. Why I am telling is every year one namuna will be there in class who will do this. Always understand when inheritance takes place, it takes place in particular cells which are called sex chromosomes. All other chromosomes which are not sex chromosomes are called as autosomes. We have how many pairs? 23 pairs of chromosomes, out of which 22 pairs are not involved in sex, and they are called as what zones? Autosomes. These autosomes are responsible for different characters. So autosomes are thing of the same. If there is 2n number of chromosomes, it divides into 2n and 2n only. This is called as what division? Mitotic division. But in sex cells, if there is 2n number of chromosomes, it divides into what? N and N. So this is called as diploid cell, and this is called as what cell? Haploid cell. Chromosomes are called as sex chromosomes or allosomes. Those chromosomes are called as what? Autosomes. They are nowhere connected with the sex of the child. Clear? All of the chromosomes which are not connected with the sex of the child show what division? Mitotic division. Only sex chromosomes show what division? Meiotic division or reduction division. The female is generally shown as what? XX. Her chromosome constitution remains the same. Even if she has multiple eggs, it will only carry what chromosome? X chromosome. So the female is not responsible for determining the sex of the child. Father is represented as what? X and Y. Y is the shortest chromosome of the human body. Okay, so when the father reproduces, he can either have X chromosome or he can have Y chromosome. Okay, in the sperm. Now there are millions of sperm in the semen. It is just probability or by chance which happens to fertilize with the egg. If the X egg fertilizes with the X sperm, then the resultant is female. If the X happens to fertilize with the Y sperm, the resultant is male. Understood? All this logic that you take this Ayurvedic medicine, you will have a boy, you do this, you sleep in the east direction, you will have a boy, all that is bloody bakwas and nonsense. It is all chemically constituted, and it is by luck what happens. It is only, I don't know if you study in probabilities, out of million sperms, so 1 by millionth part you can tell whether the child will be a male or a female. Okay, so it is very difficult to know whether it is, you can identify later whether it is a male or a female, but you cannot really say, oh, today I will reproduce and I will get a male child. It is impossible. Understood? So always write it in this fashion only. If you see your textbook, there is diagram of male and female given. You can see there, don't do all that nonsense. Please write like this, because when you draw it will look like a lizard. Manners. So write like this. XX is what? Female. XY is what? Male. See below. There are 2 sperms and 1 egg. Can you see? Yes or no? So 2 sperms, either X or Y, and the egg which contains X chromosome. Reduction division is must. Don't do this. This is wrong. Okay. because I am exactly telling the way the textbook tells, and this is how it has to be. If you do this, we will not have any material left with Brahma. He would have finished and he would have gone pauper, taking loan from World Bank. So please, don't do this. This is wrong. Always use this logic. There has to be reduction division. Reduction division will give x as egg and sperm as x and y. If it happens to fertilize, it forms XX, and if it happens to fertilize with the Y chromosome, it forms what? XY. Clear? This finishes sex determination in humans. In other organisms, particularly in reptiles, sex is dependent on the temperature of the egg. As the turtles or snakes, they lay a lot of eggs, and the mother will basically put her body on one of the eggs, and some eggs will be left here and there. They may not get that much amount of heat. So if it is less heat, it is a female. If it is more heat, it is a male. Understood? So temperature determines. Then have you seen snail? Snail nodidira? Snail is one banda, it can change its sex during its journey. वो कभी मेल रहता है, कभी फीमेल रहता है. ठीक? So depending upon the situation, it can change its sex. Is it clear? So this is all about sex determination in humans. There is one question in your textbook. Come to questions, please. Page number 147. There is one question. A man with blood group A marries a woman with blood group O. For this, I will not teach you now, presently. The reason being, from so many years, this part has never come. Because blood group has a different topic all put together. And schools generally do not teach. I every year teach. But the thing is, I will explain it only later when you are pakka with all this part. Fine? Other than that, there is nothing. This chapter, let us go behind and see. The first question. A Mendelian experiment consisted of breeding tall pea plants bearing violet flowers with short pea plant bearing white flowers. The progeny all bore violet flowers and almost half of them were short. This suggests that the genetic makeup of the tall parent can be depicted as innocently question-worthy. A Mendelian experiment consisted of breeding tall pea plant bearing violet flowers with short pea plant bearing white flowers. The progeny all bore violet flowers, but almost half of them were short. So it will not be pure tall. It will be what? It will be what? Answer no. C. It has short also, no? 50% was short. Answer will be B or C, just check once. Then there is nothing, homologous organs, evolutionary, they are all not there. Illa. 11th question is there, that's all. Only the 11th one is there. So this we will do tomorrow, and we will even start with magnetic effect of current. So today I will send your notes and go through it, because most of the things you have written, only the law part and that sex determination in humans will be sent. Even blood group part I will send, but I will teach you tomorrow that little part of blood group. Not exactly needed, but still we will try to send that. Okay? So this finishes biology also.